Yo, 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 what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is one of the last videos, probably the last video that I'm doing this cycle. I'm taking a little break. So yeah, this is gonna be the last stream for probably the next 12 months. I'll explain why in the video. But yeah, let's get straight into the live stream over here. Bitcoin, obviously, falling quite a bit since Monday. We obviously had a stream on Monday, and I said that we're most likely going to come to this 50% level, and it's only a matter of time before that. And we have come nicely down there, got a strong bounce off this 50% level, and this 50% level is massive support, guys. So a lot of people are getting bearish now. I am macro bearish, but it's hard to be short-term bearish from this 50% level over here. So this is a really strong level, guys. 100,500, just call it 100K. Why is that a strong support? Well, over here we have the lows over here. We obviously nailed this whole move to the upside, which was unbelievable, guys. This was one of the trades of the cycle for sure. And that low to the high over here, the all-time high, which is at the cycle high, I'm not too sure, it is too early to tell. But from that low at that 74K to the all-time high at that 26K, that halfway point comes in at the zone over here, 100,000, and that is the 50% level. And now, of course, you know, when we do measure that out, of course, using the Fibonacci tool, the 50% level is basically the line in the sand for whether we are in a strong or a weak position. So when we are above the 50% level, we are in a strong position. So since we are here, we are in a strong position. So if we do lose this 50% level over here, let's say we come down and chop around here, this is going to put Bitcoin in a weak position, and you can expect more downside. So in my opinion, this 100K zone now is the line in the sand. So, you know, yes, we can come down and grab this liquidity over here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another wick, grab that liquidity and close above, and then have a little push to the upside. But only time will tell, guys, only time will tell. So for now, this is a extremely strong support, and you can see, guys, a lot of people are getting super bearish as well. So I would not be surprised to see a move up here on Bitcoin. I'm not sure where to. We'll have to analyze that at the time. But, you know, the minimum that I would go for would be this, you know, the zone over here. Massive support over here, lines up with this EMA cluster over here. So, you know, if you are looking for your scalp long, you could easily long Bitcoin into the 200-day EMA, and that's coming in at that 108K zone over there. So potential trade on the cards. This is for Bitcoin, of course. But let's see, guys. Let's see. This is looking a bit toppy, in my opinion. I do think the top is in. And I could be wrong. Always can be wrong. But I do think the top could be in, guys. We're going to go into the macros after this. We're going to go into the weekly time frame. Look for those macro targets, of course. But for now, yeah, that is Bitcoin. If we were to get bullish on Bitcoin, I'd like to see Bitcoin above this descending resistance and above this important EMA cluster, chop around like this, then I could be bullish for those targets at that 135 to 150K zone. But only time will tell, guys, only time will tell. But for now, I am remaining in my stance of bearish. In fact, I have been bearish since August 28th, around this zone over here. Yeah, I've been bearish over here. Of course, we did come up, swept the highs, come down, and you know, altcoins have been absolutely smashed since then. So very good exits, very happy with that. And the thing is with Bitcoin, guys, is, you know, yes, we can rally up to this 160K zone with Bitcoin over there, guys. But you know, for the early traders, guys, we got in at these levels over here between 20 and 30K. This is where we got into Bitcoin. So, you know, taking chips off the table, 350% move. That is the kind of move that we want to take, guys. This is the kind of move that we did take. We obviously took some nice leverage longs, these big moves up here. But guys, it doesn't really matter. You know, a trade from here to here for another 35%, not really worth it at this point in time. And I'll tell you guys now, we're going to go into the weekly time frame in a bit. But for now, guys, Bitcoin, is holding up this macro support here at that 50%. So no need to get bearish as of yet. But if you do get start again, if you do start to chop around here, like explained earlier, then we can see lower levels. We can see low levels. Ethereum, on the other hand, yeah, not really supporting this 200-day EMA at all. It actually got absolutely smashed yesterday, and since Monday, it's down, 14%. It was down 20% for the week already, which is absolutely crazy, guys. There is a lot of volume as well, a lot of volatility. So not looking good for Ethereum. But Ethereum over here could be testing this descending resistance, this old one, testing that support. We see here touch point. This is a deviation, so I wouldn't really count this as a touch point. However, of course, a horizontal resistance there as well. So what you can see, guys, is that we could be tagging and getting the bounce off this descending resistance over there. So maybe getting the bounce, and maybe we go to that 5K zone, which we have been waiting for, but. For a lot of people were waiting for 5K, and I think we hit 4,960, so like 1% away from that 5K zone. So yeah, it would be pretty funny if ETH didn't hit that 5K. A lot of people were thinking, and I'm sure there were a lot of limit orders for 5K. But this just shows that most people get it wrong. Most people get it wrong, guys. That is what it is in the crypto market. Most people do get it wrong. But ETH, ETH could easily come back to this 3,600 up to these EMAs over here. But for now, I am on the sidelines, guys. I've been on the sidelines for over 2 months now. I've been patient, and being patient does pay off in the crypto market, guys. Solana not looking good, guys. Solana is super bearish. I'd say the most bearish one, actually. It has completely lost this ascending support over here. We're in this kind of uptrend since April this year, and it has broken down the zone over here, and it is underneath that 50% level. There was an opportunity to get into some longs over here because this was the 50% level, just like Bitcoin's on that 50% level now. This is where you would have wanted to get in. So, potential bounce into the 50 EMA over there. This just shows, guys, 50% level is so huge, and the 50-day EMA is so huge, guys. These are very important indicators. That's why we always have them on. But what you got to ask yourself, guys, if you had to turn this chart upside down, invert the scale over here, this is a breakout to the upside, and looks like we are going to get that golden cross. So this is actually really bullish, but because it is inverted, it is actually bearish, guys. So I would stay away from Solana. Solana not looking good at all. Yeah, it's probably the last crypto that I, of course, altcoins aren't looking good, but I'd be sticking to your Bitcoin and your Ethereum at this point in time. So let's go into USDT dominance. Guys, we spoke about this for a while now. We spoke about the golden cross for USDT dominance. The golden cross for USDT dominance is obviously bearish for the crypto market, guys. This just shows that funds are flowing into USDT, which is of course a stable coin. It's basically like bidding the dollar. So this was also a reason why I exited the crypto market pretty early on, towards the end of August, was because we did break out of this descending resistance over here for USDT dominance. This is the exact position where I bailed out of my crypto portfolio, because this breaking out is obviously bearish for the crypto market, and this has been an early indicator, and we haven't actually come lower, so a good call. But what you can see here is that we do have that golden cross, which we spoke about earlier, and this just shows that we are getting that upward momentum, that upward strength, that momentum to the upside, which is bearish for the crypto market, guys. Downward momentum for the crypto market because of upward momentum from the USDT dominance. These are inversely correlated. So what you can see here, guys, as well, is that we spoke about the fourth touch point being, it's like basically knocking on a sheet of ice. It's eventually going to crack, guys. So we went through there, touch once, twice, third time, fourth time, fifth time broke through there. And this is a huge level for USDT dominance, because this is the 50% level. This is the Bitcoin is currently sitting over here if you had to invert it. But from this point over here, from the start of April all the way down to that low, That halfway point comes in at 5.1%. And we are currently trading above. So we obviously hit this as some resistance, and now we've eventually broken through, guys. So this puts USDT dominance in that strong position. We spoke about the strong and weak position earlier, but this puts USDT dominance in the strong position, which puts the crypto market in a weak position, guys. So this is a huge cause of concern. And yes, we can get a relief rally in the crypto market, but remember, when we come into these EMAs, it's going to hold as strong support. So basically, longing the crypto market from a swing trading perspective isn't really worth the risk. So this is USDT dominance, most likely coming up to the zone over here. It will come to claim these highs at some point. We are obviously going to go much higher. When we do get into that bear market for crypto, we are going to see these levels that are 10%, 15%. There's a lot of technology that's developed in the stable coin space, USDT dominance. Tether obviously being a massive company which profits billions of dollars every quarter. This is a strong company. So, USDT dominance to this 10%, 15% is very much on the cards for the bottom of the bear market. So we'll obviously have to have a look at that later down the line. But that is it for the daily time frame. I want to go into the weekly time frame over here, because USDT dominance on the weekly time frame, we just looked at it on the daily time frame. But now if we zoom out on the weekly time frame, with of course our important EMAs, and in the weekly time frame we do use the 21 and the 50 EMA, and looks like we could get a golden cross here. So we had the death cross over here. This was obviously the highs of the bottom of the bear market. November 22, that was when the bull market started, the bottom end of the bear market. And we have been in this, we've had this descending resistance over here. Of course, this is inversely correlated crypto. So this going down is crypto going up. And we are starting to break through over here, guys, which is not a good sign, guys. This is a breakout. And breakouts, you can hit those targets. And what are the targets? Well, of course, 50% level would be target one. Let me get rid of this quickly. 50% would be target one, which kind of lines up with grabbing the liquidity and hitting the zone over here. So this is the next target for me. I do expect this to be hit sooner than later, guys. 6.57%. This is the target for USDT dominance on the weekly time frame. And then, of course, there are other targets. This is another target over here. Of course, there's highs. A lot of people happy to buy crypto at these levels or sell their USDT. So these would be your targets, guys. Target one, target two. Let's see what happens. But it looks like we are getting this golden cross over here with the breakouts. And of course, this is a bullish divergence. So USDT dominance, bullish divergence. We have had the RSI create higher lows. So low, higher low, higher low, just like that. That is in an uptrend. And this has basically held flat. You can, it's about approximations. And this is flat, guys. So if this is flat and this is angled to the upside, it is a divergence. So this is a bullish divergence. So USDT dominance, bullish divergence, breakout, about to have the golden cross. I would expect that this 50% level is going to get reached. And that is 20% away, 22% away. This could be huge for the crypto market. This is bearish. This is bearish, guys. And then, yeah, this is just, reading the charts as it is. If we had to invert it, it's would obviously be bullish for crypto. So let's have a look at this quickly. This is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, just looking at the past cycles. So we had the cycle before last. This was the basically from the end of 2018 to November. And what you can see here is that each cycle is basically just over 1,000 days. So this was the cycle before the 2021 top cycle. This was 1,064 days. Obviously, it's an approximation. It's on the weekly time frame. Give me a day or two. And what you see is that we are in this bull trend for that 1,064 days. It obviously looks a bit weird because of the scale, because Bitcoin has come so far. But what you see is that we do go up for just over 1,000 days. Then we go down for about just over a year. So 370 days, up for just over 1,000 days, down for 370 odd days over there again. And this cycle here was 1,050 days. So, the top is in from this bottom point over here to the zone over here. That is 1,050 days. So, of course, it is just rough approximations. But this is a sign of caution, guys. We always said when we looked at the weekly time frame that we were going to look for a top of this cycle in Q4 of 2025 or Q1 of 2026. And, maybe I am wrong and we do still go up to these all-time highs and go up to that 140K. But from a timing point of view, it's always so important to time the market, guys. Timing the market is very important. From a timing point of view, guys, the cycle it's come to an end. It's been that 1,000 days. Time's flying at the moment. So, this is another reason why I do think, the top is in. We have kind of exhausted the move from a timing point of view. And it looks like, if you take your 2017 high, 2021 high and extend that, we did actually perfectly touch it right over there. So, this is looking pretty perfect for a top, in my opinion. Makes sense from a technical point of view. From the way I look at markets, the top could be in. So now what we can do is, okay, cool. Let's say this is the top at the start of August. This is the top from the start of August. And, sorry, this is the top from the start of October. So what we can do now is we can extend or just carry this about that 380 days. And that takes us to basically mid-October next year. So mid-October next year, this is where I'm looking to get back into the crypto market. This is where I'll be streaming again, guys. This is where I'll be trading the markets. I don't really, I'm going to focus on other things. I've been working super hard this whole cycle, making the most of it. So I'm going to take a year off and get back into the market. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. We're going to get those trades to the upside, something like that. Who knows what it's going to look like? But let's see. This is going to be where, we get back in the market. Hopefully we get into the lows over there. And looking for targets, it's impossible to call a number, in my opinion. But, looking at these cycles, this cycle over here from top to bottom, crypto went down 84%. And from 2021 over here to end of 2022, that went down 76%. So I'm looking for like a between 60 and 70% drawdown. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds impossible. I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to like the sound of it. But if we go 60 or 70% to the downside from here, here's 60%, 70%, this zone over here. So, it's way too early to call prices. But I would say like 40 to 50K. 40 to 50K Bitcoin, this would be a great purchase, guys. And, it's going to take some time. Maybe it happens fast. But this is my target, guys. This is, if Bitcoin comes down here, it seems insane. But remember, guys, when you're in a bear market, get your leg down, something like that. Who knows what it's going to look like. But yeah, this is where I'm going to be getting into Bitcoin, accumulating Bitcoin, DCAing into Bitcoin again. This is going to be your zone. And, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is most likely going to go to $1 million. Most likely. Just the way that the monetary system works with money printing and inflation and XYZ, Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million at some point. I'd say it's a guarantee. How long will it take? I don't know how long it'll take. Maybe a few cycles time, but Bitcoin to $1 million, most likely going to happen. And it is only a matter of time. But, I personally don't feel like my portfolio going down 60%. So, of course, my chips are already off the table. You guys are well aware of that. But this is where I'm going to be, absolutely aping into Bitcoin. So I'm going to be buying crypto, buying, Bitcoin mainly, of course, a little bit of Ethereum. But yeah, this is a great zone to be getting into Bitcoin. And, just going into some data quickly, looking at November. November is very bullish for Bitcoin normally, an average of 42%, medium 8%. Last year was 37%, which is huge, obviously after the elections. But yeah, this, Bitcoin is bullish in November. This is why, if you go into the daily time frame, yes, it looks a bit scary, but, a huge move into all-time highs is on the cards. I could be wrong. Who knows, guys? But a move to the upside for Bitcoin is always on the cards. It can always rally 30% in the month. It's done it basically every month at some point in time besides, your Septembers. So I wouldn't rule it off, but I've personally taken my chips off the table. One red flag, of course, this was a catastrophic day for the crypto markets, the 10th of October. Altcoins got absolutely smashed. This was, fortunately, I was on the short side of the market, but I felt pretty bad for, other participants, dropped 50% at some point. If you had any leverage, you were basically gone. This is like a bit of a red flag. I didn't like that at all. Not great for the ecosystem. But basically, $20 billion, wiped off. Not awesome for the ecosystem. A lot of manipulation there, of course. But yeah, this is also a massive warning sign, guys. Huge volatility, big players taking big profits, and that's just what happens at the end of the cycle. But guys, let's just take it one step at a time. I'm personally taking the next year off. It's been one hell of a ride. We've absolutely nailed the cycle. We've called the lows twice on these lows over here. Nailed the move up. Nailed the move up again. No, it's been one hell of a ride, guys. Cheers, bro. You've been here, the whole time as well, which has been epic, bro. Tom as well. Fuck yes, bro. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for all the support. It's been epic. Of course, the engagement has dropped because, a lot of players have been wiped out. But it was awesome, in these glory days, 40, 50 viewers at a time, 300 views on a video. That was absolutely epic. But guys, thanks so much for joining the stream. Best of luck out there. And yeah, you'll most likely see me streaming again when we do come into this bottom Q4 of next year. Guys, thanks so much. And we'll see you guys in 12 months' time. Good luck trading out there. Cheers for now.